I'm Bob Hallmark in Tyler today. I'm at the Aviation Museum here at Pounds Field, where we are having a meeting here, a very important meeting for a traditional ride that comes through East Texas every spring, the Run for the Wall. Now, it takes some organization to be able to do this. By the time it hits Texas, there are thousands of riders that are coming through from California on their way to the nation's capital. And joining me now to talk about what they're talking about and how they're going to organize is Billy Dunlap, AKA Bugs. And now, Billy, where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Weatherford, Texas.
Weatherford, Texas.
Just down the road.
Okay. Now, Billy is a retired captain in the U.S. Navy, also did some Army time as well as an enlisted man. Tell me a little bit about this. You guys are getting together for a very important reason today, and what is that?
Well, right now we're just gathering as a sort of a reunion. A lot of groups like to get together before we all get out into California in May, just to kind of reset, rejoin the family, and then when we all get together in May, it gets down to business of supporting our mission.
Now, your ride, for those that don't know, the ride begins in California. It goes. There are several routes, I guess, that go across the country, but it culminates at the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. And we're going to show you some pictures of that. We have a lot of file video of previous rides over the years. I've been fortunate to cover this every year that it has been held. There's a mission that is primary to what you guys do. Other than riding, there is a mission here. Is that correct?
That's right. Run for the Wall has a four-part mission. It was established in 1989 by Gunnery Instructor James Gregory to highlight the fact that there are still prisoners of war in Vietnam, and there was proof of that. So this run from California to Washington, D.C. originated there then to join the Rolling Thunder event in Washington, D.C. to highlight that event. Since then, over the past 34 years, our mission has grown, but that's still at the heart of our mission, highlighting the fact that there are missing people in Vietnam.
Right, and if you've never seen this ride, you will see a distinct flag that is being flown by all of the riders. The black flag with the circle of barbed wire. There it is right there. Palmia, which actually became vernacular for us during school in the 60s, which was to remember those that were taken prisoner of war and those that were missing in action. The biggest part, as I see it, is you have so many riders coming into East Texas, and as you go, you pick up thousands. Is how do you organize something like this? I mean, obviously there are contingencies that have to be made. Is that right?
Oh yeah. The organization planning for this run that's coming up this May started over a year ago. So it takes at least 12 months, and we have a route coordinator who is in charge of each one of the routes. As you mentioned, there are several routes. There's 3 routes, Southern, Midway, and Central Route, that all go across the United States from California to Washington, D.C., taking different paths so that we can reach more schools, more veterans homes, more veterans hospitals, VA centers, and we're hosted by American Legions of VFWs and other concerned patriotic citizens along the way. But yeah, we have fuel teams, we have staging teams, we have road guards, we have ambassador teams that go out in front of us. We have people that coordinate directly with law enforcement all the way across the country. Every place we go, law enforcement, local, state, know that we're coming, and typically meet us at the border and give us an outstanding blue light escort all the way across. So it's not a small task, moving 500 motorcycles all the way across the country for 3,000 miles.
Right. And by the time they actually hit Washington, D.C., it's not a mistake to say that there are thousands of motorcycles because people join in on the ride as they progress across the country. It's an impressive sight. It's an emotional sight when you see all of them converging on Washington, D.C. For you personally, as somebody who served this country, as somebody who has been part of this ride for so many years, it has to be somewhat satisfying for you to see that the attitude of the country has changed over the years.
Yes, it has. I tell you what, going across the country, almost every bridge we come across has people lined up across it. It's really stirs something in you to come across a bridge going down the interstate, and there's two giant fire trucks, ladders raised, and an enormous American flag hanging over it, and people waving flags and cheering and seeing us go by, because they know what our mission is. And we feel like the patriotic spirit of America is highlighted by people doing that, and we love to see them out there.
Absolutely. And of course, the big part of this too is to remember. Remember those who not only fought as hard and as well as anybody in our history of this country, but those who fought until the very end, and those who continue to fight to this day as prisoners of war, and those that were lost and missing in action. That's the hard part for any veteran, is to hit that memorial and to see that wall and to know that over 58,000 Americans were lost in that battle.
Yes, and that's one of the prime things we try to do, is to bring home those people who may not have ever come home, the ones that we say that all came home, but not all came home. You know?
Yeah.
So a lot of people that ride with us still can't walk up to the wall. Yeah. And over the years, they gain that courage, and knowing that the family that we establish here and the support that we provide to each other helps them get there, and then eventually they'll get there and get that closure. But until then, they've got a family to lean on here.
Well said. Thank you. I appreciate it, Billy. All right. And we'll have much more on this story tonight on KLTV 7 News. For KLTV WebXtra, I'm Bob Holmar.